Hello everyone and welcome back to our lessons, and in this lesson we are looking at the multiplication of algebraic expressions. Now in this first lesson of multiplication we are going to revisit the distributive law. Okay, now when a term has brackets, okay, this is one term and this term has brackets, okay, and on the outside there are numbers. Okay, on the outside there's not a number, there's actually a 1, so there is a number, and all letters. Okay, there's a letter that we can see. We can get rid of the brackets, we can get rid of these brackets by multiplying the part on the outside with each term on the inside of the brackets. Now this is so important to understand this, okay, that when we are busy with multiplication or simplifying, always remember your math recipe. Now, what is the math recipe? Check how many terms are there in my sum. This is only one term because terms are separated with pluses and minuses, but not when the plus or minus is in brackets or when the plus or the minus is part of a numerator or denominator. Okay, so this is only one term. Now, solve each term with BODMAS. We always solve a term with BODMAS. Now, again, there are brackets. I cannot add anything in the brackets. That's the B of BODMAS. There's no powers or roots that I can see in the sum. There's no division, there's multiplication. And how do we multiply this? Because I have to get rid of these brackets. We are going to take the one that's on the outside, and remember this letter is part of this term. So I'm going to take this letter and I'm going to multiply it in with both terms on the inside. Now I'm talking about the terms on the inside of the brackets. So we kind of only look at the things inside, and we see that there's two terms in this bracket, but the entire sum is still one term. It's so important to understand that difference. Okay, so I'm going to take this A and multiply it with each term on the inside. So the A times the B and then A times the C, right? So A times B will just be AB and plus, and then we will have A times C, which will be AC. It's so important also to know that now I'm done with the multiplication. Can I add or subtract? No, I cannot add these two because they are not the same thing. You can only add the letters that are exactly the same with exactly the same exponents. There's a A, but look, this is called AB, that term, and that term is called AC, so they're not the same thing. Now, let's try another example. Look at this one. Now again, my entire sum is only one term because if I draw a line in front of this minus, all of this still belongs together. Okay, now again, we want to get rid of these brackets because I have to simplify this term. So are there any brackets? Yes. Can I do a sum in the brackets? No, I cannot. Are there powers and roots to do? No. Is there division? No. Multiplication? Yes, because I want to get rid of these brackets. This is one term and there's a letters against the bracket. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this in and then what will we get? Well, minus A times B is minus AB, and then minus A times a plus C is still a minus AC, because a plus minus times a plus gives me a minus. Okay, and that is it. Now these are just examples of the distributive law, but here we get to the kind of questions you will get in your exam. Now, let us try. Simplify the following. Okay, always remember your math recipe, right? Okay, so how many terms are in the sum? Well, this is where you have to tell me there's only one term, okay? Because there's no pluses or minuses in front of which I can draw a line. And remember, I cannot draw the line there because then I split this bracket and we just cannot do that, right? Okay, then we go and we try and solve this entire term with BODMAS. Are there brackets? Yes, there are. Can I do something in the brackets? Because that is what the B means. No, I cannot take 4A minus 7. They're not the same thing. I've got 4A's minus 7 nothings, right? Yes. Okay, then powers and roots. No powers and roots that I can do. Division, that's not a division sum. Multiplication, yes. Because here we have brackets and a number against the bracket, so we use the distributive law. So 3 times that one and 3 times that one. And what do we get if we take 3 times 4a? We get 12a. And then what do we get if we take 3 times minus 7? We get minus 21. Can I subtract these two? No, that is 12a's minus 21 nothings, right? Yes, they're not the same thing. If there was a, then you could subtract. Okay, that's all there is to it. Let's go try some more examples. Now, here are some examples for you to try. And I'm going to go through them, so try them at home. And once you are ready, resume the video and see if you get them right. Okay, so here we have one term. We want to solve and simplify this term. So we use BODMAS. Can I do something in the brackets? No, I cannot. Powers and roots I can do. No. Is there division? No. Multiplication? Yes. Because that 2a is against the bracket and it's part of this entire term. So I multiply it with each term on the inside. There we go with the 2a times the a and 2a times the 3. So let's see. Again, how do we multiply these things? We will take the plus and the plus. It leaves a plus because there's a positive sign and a positive sign that we can't see, right? And then 2a times a. So 2 times 1, it is a 2. And then letters with the same letters. A times a. That's the exponent law. So write the a, and then that 1 plus the 1 gives me the power of 2, right? Okay. Then plus and a plus, it gives me a plus. And then 2 times 3 gives me 6. And can I just throw away that a? No, it's 2a times 3, which will give me 6a, right? And can I add these two? No, I cannot, because they're not the same thing. That's 2a squared plus 6a to the power of 1. The powers are different, so I cannot add them. Number 2. Here we have one term, and again, can I do something in the brackets? There's nothing I can subtract or add because they're not the same things. Are there powers I can do? No powers I can do. I can c to the power of 2, but there's nothing I can do here, right? And then division, not a division sum. Multiplication, yes, because there's a minus 3a against the bracket and it's part of this term. So we have to multiply it with each one on the inside. So let's start like this. And then signs with signs, minus with a positive gives me a minus. And 3 times 3 gives me 9. And how about same letters, a and a? Then you write the a and you take that exponent plus that exponent gives me to the power of 3. Okay. And then next one, minus 3a with minus 4a. Minus with a minus gives a plus. And 3 times 4 equals 12. And then letters with letters. A with the a. We write the a. And then 1 is the exponent there. And there's a 1. So 1 plus 1 gives me to the power of 2. And last one, a minus with a plus is a minus. And 3 times 6, that gives me 18. And don't forget about the a. Just because it doesn't have a friend there doesn't mean we can throw that a away. So we just simply write the a down. And we are done. And the answer is minus 9a to the power of 3 plus 12a to the power of 2 minus 18a. Example 3. Here we have 2a and in the brackets 3a minus 4a minus 7a squared minus 2ay. Now, if I look at this, immediately if I follow my math recipe, I can draw a line in front of that minus. So I have two terms. And how do we solve terms? With BODMAS. So I'm going to try and do BODMAS for this term and BODMAS for that term. Okay? So here we go. Anything I can do in these brackets? No. Anything I can do in those brackets? No. Are there powers I can do in this term? No. Are there powers I can do in this term? Well, there is a power of 2, but nothing I can do with it, right? There's no division in that term, no division in that term. Is there multiplication in this term? Yes, because there's brackets and a number and a letter against the bracket. So we have to multiply those out. So I'm going to multiply those. So here we go. 2 times the 3 gives me a 6. And then we have the a with the a. Write the a and the exponent there plus the exponent there. So 1 plus 1 gives me 2. And then a positive with a negative gives me a negative. And then 2 times 4, that gives me 8. And then not the same letters, but a times a y gives me a y. And there we go. So we also check to see if there was division there. There wasn't. So multiplication, yes there is. There's brackets with a sign against the bracket. So that sign has to be multiplied in. So a minus times 7a squared will give me just minus 7a squared. And then the minus times the minus 2ay will give me plus 2ay. And then I have done the B for Botmas, the O for Botmas, the division for Botmas, and now I'm finished with the M, the multiplication for Botmas, and then we get to the A and the S, the adding and subtracting. We can only add the same terms. So do you agree with me that that one is exactly the same as that one when we look at the letters and the exponents? That is 6a squared minus 7a squared. So I've got 6 of those things minus 7 of those things. So now I have minus 1a squared, because 6 minus 7 is minus 1. And what are we busy with? With a squareds, right? Okay. Then that is also exactly the same as that. I've got minus 8ay's plus 2ay's, and then I will have minus 6ay's, because minus 8 plus 2 is a minus 6. Okay, and you can do that on your calculator. So that is a like term with that one. And we are done. So I hope you understand the math recipe and how we apply the distributive law. See you in the next lesson. Bye. This is your host Richard T, and thank you for joining us. Please visit our website mathsa.co.za for free guided exam tutorials.